No, I wanted to limit him to that 70, 75 pitch mark. Just felt like that the number of pitches per inning situation that didn't want to run him back out there and get into a long inning or a higher pitch count situation. So it was planned, TR, that it would be shortened, obviously not as short as we got it today, but just want to leave it right there.
What will the next 24 or so hours look like for you?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of planning that goes in these type of situations. That has already started. Look, we've had a number of our scouts out on the road looking at teams, possible teams that we have an opportunity to play. I think that's dialed down a little bit now for us. Obviously, we'll go over these teams, their players, their tendencies. And then we still have a couple decisions that we need to make. There'll be discussions, I think appropriate discussions on the last couple decisions on our roster, and then it's about rest for these guys. The next 24, 48 hours, we'll go to work on Tuesday. In the process of refreshing ourselves with all the things that we need to do, what are possible scenarios, and then we got to have our hitters face pitchers. We want to continue that process.
In regards to those last couple of spots, and we talked about this a little bit before the game, but was there anything meaningful to take place on the field in regard to that today?
It's always meaningful. Evan, every time that these guys go out and compete, they're showing you what they can do. I don't look for what guys can't do. I look for what they can do. What can they help us out in winning situations, solidifying defense, what they can do on the base paths, what they could do at the plate offensively, and then just how do they handle certain situations. Look, we're getting ready to enter into a new season that is extremely important to us. It is a different season. This is a season of playoff baseball. There is significance in everything that you do. It's necessary for these guys to be a sharp focus on top of their game, and so those are the type of things that we look at as we evaluate those last couple of spots.
How do you evaluate the Shinsechu's comeback series? Is that affects the division series roster?
Well, look, that process. Obviously, three games. It's a short sample size, a small sample size. Liked what we saw. Obviously, in the outfield, ability to run around. We liked what we saw at the plate, the balance. Got a couple hits, worked the count. Seemed to be on time. Didn't chase much. So. Now, look, which direction we go with it, we haven't made that decision yet.
So the regular season's over, 95 wins. You won the division by, I think, 9 games. What do you make of the regular season?
Yeah, Jeff, that's obviously I'm extremely proud of our guys, all of them. What they poured into the regular season, starting back during the off season, starting back at the last game of the season last year, how we walked away and the implications that had, and how these guys have responded to that, and then entering the spring training, the focus on competing. That was our focus, that we were going to compete in everything in every situation. I think you saw that today in the last game. If that wasn't obviously didn't end the way we wanted to, but very typical of our season, of how these guys stay engaged, they stay focused, they stay on top of the game for all the outs till the end of the game. And I think if you look at the body of work and write what you want on how these guys were able to, the one-run games, the comeback games, I think there was a ton of adversity that these guys had to overcome early and in the middle. They responded extremely well. We've had some guys that showed up on the scene that did incredibly well for us, and some young players that interjected some great energy into our season, into this team. We had some guys that came over from trades that fit right in, that really I don't think that they missed a single step coming from their teams and assimilating themselves into this ball club and making an instant impact. And then when you get to the core group, just starting with Adrian, you look at the season that he had coming off of the season that he had last year, the injury-riddled season, and still was able to be just a masterful player. Ian Desmond coming over and being selfless in a sense of changing positions and then solidifying center field for us. Gomez, who came from a ball club and he was had his challenges. Instant impact. Elvis Andrus. I gotta pound the table for a guy that at the end of the year last year, just where he was, to where his determination. I think he told you all that this would be a time for him that would be an incredible moment, and he was going to come back focused, rededicated, and have a significant year. I think that if you look at the numbers and what he was able to do for us, has been just a tremendous player for us this year. To hit 300, wanted terribly for him to be able to drive in that 70th run, but just what he has been able to do for us, not only at shortstop, but in the batter's box, the hold down the bottom part of that lineup has been incredible. Rougned Odor, and on and on. And then you can start with, you go to the starting rotation and Cole Hamels and Perez, Colby Lewis, Yu Darvish, and then there are some names of some guys that are no longer with us that had significant contributions to this ball club. And so it's, my thing is, it's not one single person. The some of the parts are greater than the whole, in a sense that all of them had a thumbprint, fingerprint on all the wins to reach 95 wins. Significant. I know that there are a lot of people out there that would have loved us to get to that 96 or 97. The reality is, we get an opportunity to play on. We get an opportunity. It's what we wanted. We wanted the ability to show up and play for a championship. We had a goal in mind to win the West, to kind of solidify our opportunity. We've got that opportunity, and now refocus, rest, and be ready to play on Thursday.
Jeff, what will go into your decision as far as which pitchers will start which games, and has anything been decided?
Well, I'll start with, before I announce whether or not we've made that decision or not, I'll tell you this, that I respect every single player in that clubhouse, what they've done, what they're going to do, and I will not announce anything at this point. I will tell you that we've got 4. You can assume that and decide, and you'd probably be correct on who the 4 are. However, until I sit down in that office in there and I have those appropriate conversations with each one of those individuals, I'm not going to give you anything. I will say this, that I feel comfortable with any direction that we go with the 4 that we have.
Just what did you see from Jake Beekman in his outing tonight?
I thought Jake threw the ball well today. We made it challenging for him to get 5 outs. We miss a ball on the strikeout, and then we throw the ball away on the back end of the double play. But I thought the ball came out of Jake's hand much cleaner today, a little bit better in the command of the strike zone.
I feel like I got to ask you this. You're going to play one of 2 teams. Would you rather not deal with the possible sideshow that a series with Toronto might entail?
I think that our focus supersedes anything that we might encounter in any location. We don't get to choose whom we play. We don't get to choose where we play. We just have earned the opportunity to play someone somewhere. Who that is, we'll take whoever that is, and we'll go play the game of baseball. We'll stay focused, dedicated to what we need to do, and I'll leave it at that.
You gave Adrian a little bit of an honor today. What was your feeling on that?
Yeah, I wanted our entire ball club and our fan base to recognize a great player, a future Hall of Famer. I wanted him to feel the love from our fans and our players. I don't think that there is any other way than to allow him to have that moment, that spotlight, and the appreciation from everybody in this ballpark of just what he brings every single day and how he shows up and how he leads these players inside that clubhouse and on that field. And that was, I think, the coaching staff's thank you to a great player.
Hey, on Elvis, you talked about what he meant in this moment. We talked about him before the game. Did you give him an extra at-bat today? Did he want an extra at-bat after that strikeout?
He wanted the extra at-bat. I gave him the extra one. We talked about it last night, just where he was. And so an opportunity, look, there was a runner on base. And so he's been tremendous for us in those situations. And he wanted the at-bat, so I wanted him to have the opportunity to have one more.
Do you see this postseason as being unfinished business from last year, or is this just taking care of business this year?
Well, this is 2016. Last year was 2015. We can't go back and turn the clock and worry about what happened last year. Is it unfinished business? It's unfinished business this year. If we do things right and we win this thing, it's not going to have on a ring. It's not going to have 2015 unfinished to 2016. It's going to say 2016. It's a great question. And here's the thing about championships. I had a conversation with Ian Desmond today and before the game, and listen, you have a group of players who go to spring training and they play all year long, and then you get in the playoffs and you're running at top-end speed, if you will. And however it ends, whether it ends early or it ends with a parade, when it's over, every single player essentially goes to the four corners. They go to their homes. They disperse. And part of, in that celebration, there is the thing that you know is that never will those group of players essentially play on the same team collectively again. And so there is part of that where it ends abruptly. And so the ability to soak in, to appreciate every single moment and everything that goes on in these type of situations is, I think, paramount and imperative, because they're celebrated either way it goes.